Controversial video number 2 upload. I'm Todd. Welcome to Independent Conversations. This video is going to talk about oil and gas. I know normally I talk about the benefits of environmental laws, but I think I'm in a unique position to talk about something else because if we're going to talk about policies that relate to environmental or counteracting fossil fuels, we have to talk about the realistic ingenuities of what can be done to bring gas prices down and actually control the market in our country. This is just going to be an example for the United States because my grandfather, believe it or not, was an executive for an oil refinery in Buffalo, New York. He got killed in an refinery explosion accidentally, God rest his soul. And now this is in 1982 he died, and he once said that the United States has enough oil. Now, and this was in 1982 production wise to last 100 lifetimes. But yet you will always hear that we are not energy independent. Currently, the National Strategic Stockpile has at least 300 million barrels, with the option to refill it at any time. Now, why do Republicans, always say, "Oh, well, we're not energy independent. We're not exporting." Wrong. The Ukrainian crisis has caused such a demand for American oil because there is international price caps on Russian oil, but it's not that well of a cap. For example, instead of charging $100 a barrel, maybe more, they've brought it down to, I think it's 60 bucks. 60 bucks a barrel. That's the punishment. Instead of even the president of Ukraine said it should be at 30. So people wondering why Russia still has money from the sanctions. So, we only had Russian imports of only 3%. So, in a sign of international unity, the countries from the EU decided to wean themselves off of Russian oil and buy American oil from American companies like Exxon and stuff like that. We have more oil being produced than ever, but yet the right side of the aisle thinks we're not energy independent. Wrong. However, all of our oil is still a part, mostly, of OPEC Plus. It's an international conglomerate of multi corporations. Yes, we do have a couple of private refineries that can do whatever they want, but we do not have control of our own gas. So, how do we get control of our own gas? How do we get to that point where we can finally, if we really truly wanted to lean off, or excuse me, I'm saying lean, but I keep saying lean. So how do we get to that point where we can make the real transition off of fossil fuels into environmental ones if we wanted to? We have to nationalize American oil. That may be controversial, but that way it sets our price caps, the manufacturers that we have in the United States, such as like Texas, for example, that's an oil rich field. And that way, when you go to fill up your car, you'll pay $1.50 or even less. Do you remember when gas was 99 cents? I do, and that was in 1999. It's not that unrealistic of a possibility. And also, it could cause, it would also protect, if that was really what we wanted to do as a protectionist or whatever that word that they always throw around, that's what we would really do, but we don't. Like, even in the Inflation Reduction Act, there is a very weird counterbalance because there is more oil and lease gassing permits capability, but actually there isn't being any being sold because where are you going to be sold? Where are you going to get all these oil from? There's so much oil, but yet nobody believes it. But the question is, will you ever pull the gun on nationalization like you did with Fannie and Freddie? Even though right now they call it a conservatorship, but everybody knows that it's under government control and government rakes in the profits from Fannie and Freddie Mae. That was a $5 trillion investment, or excuse me, a loss that could have cost the international community trillions in 2008. How much do you think could be gained or lost if America actually decided to do something about $5 gasoline? Wouldn't you rather pay $1 gasoline rather than five and truly choke off countries like Saudi Arabia from our oil and force them to have the $5 gasoline, six, seven, eight, nine, and not us? Think about it.